Hey everybody, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? We're back with State of the Muck again, and we're so happy to be here with you guys. This your boy Marana Saint Hilaire. We got our man Derek Bowden,
Hey,
and we got a special guest in the building with us today. We got the one and only DeAlex Martin.
hold
For
on,
Oh,
sure.
hold
For
on now.
sure.
Before we start, man, shout out to Alvin the Voodoo King, man. He wasn't feeling well today.
couldn't make it
You know
today.
what I'm saying?
Couldn't make it
So
today. But we
Yeah,
gonna
man.
we gonna shout out our man. We're gonna give a clap for Alvin. We're gonna give a clap for Alvin. We also gonna give a clap for Martin, who's here with us today.
Oh yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah. And then for those of y'all that do know, he got him and his wife got a wonderful marriage live that they do called Martin is Always Right. They talk about a lot of topics. They in it, boy. They get woo. They
It ain't
get
it ain't just it ain't just couples. We just try to,
boy. They stay
relationship
woo.
relationship things that go on. And for the single people, you can come and check it out because you're gonna run into these issues that happen in a relationship. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
Martin
man.
always right on Thursdays at 9. You know what I mean? We there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And it like
Y'all
And,
check
like
it
he
out.
said. Woo.
and you know what? I like the fact that you guys are not afraid to discuss controversial topics.
Oh, that's
Um,
your relationship goes through and have to touch on these controversial topics. Whether you talk about it or not in the public, it's controversial topics. You know what I mean? From dealing with having a blended family to dealing with, a male or a female saying, you know what, I need two mates instead of one mate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does
Mm-hmm.
that look? What does
yeah,
it look like? So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just because, and the one thing about being in a relationship, you understand the beauty of it is you should never lose your opinion just because it differs from your mates, but you should
right.
always respect your mate's opinion when they give it to you. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right.
you don't have to say, "Oh, my wife don't like this, so I'm scared to speak on it." It's like this how I feel.
Mhm.
But in this relationship, this is how things work. Like I believe a man should have more than one woman. However, that don't mean my wife got to give it to me, and I
Right.
got to live within the confines of our relationship. You know what I mean? And these are the rules that we set for our relationship. And our relationship is different from anybody else's relationship. And please don't make your relationship look like mine. Cause hey,
Woo.
Yeah.
Boy, that's tough. But
that's
man, we
about it.
glad we glad you. Oh, matter of fact, I gotta give a clap for that. We gotta give a clap for that one. We gotta give a clap for that one. Hey. But we want to let everybody know. We got some housekeeping things. We want to let y'all know. Thank y'all for participating. We thank y'all for the comments. Keep them coming. Do all that. We also want to let y'all know we're going to be starting next week. We're going to be having a State of the Muck Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, all of that, YouTube. Most of and then we're gonna start winding down on our live stuff, and we're gonna be doing some pre-recorded. And we just want to let y'all know that but we'll give we'll shout you out whenever everything happens. We also want to we also want to tell business owners out there, if you a business owner and man, you would love for us to shout you out, please send us like while we're watching. Please type in your business, whatever it is. If if you sew, if you cook chicken, whatever you do, you know what I'm saying. Make shirts. Shout us out so we can let us know so we can shout you out to everybody, and because we want to support what's in our community, what's in our city. We just want to let y'all know that we want to give big shout outs to all of those that are watching that support. Man, thank y'all so much. Today, we not gonna act like we don't know what's going on. America is on fire right now. America is
No, you
on
said it
Literally,
fire.
right. The world. The world.
The world is on
literally,
fire. The world is on
literally,
fire.
literally.
You're right. The
Yeah.
world is on fire, man. And it's all because of a black man. Ain't that something? All because of a black man. The world is on fire, right? And in the midst of all of that, no matter how you feel about everything that's going on, for us as black men, it's so hard for us to express ourselves in this time because we all express ourselves differently. And we want to have that discussion today about what it's like to be a black man in this country when you feel like when everybody telling us for on one way or the other, just shut your mouths. You're a man. You don't got to say nothing about what's going on, right? And how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the emotions? How do we deal? What do we do? Those of us that are either when you were younger or older, wherever you are, those of us that have certain careers, those of us that are doing whatever it is, how do we deal? How do we cope? How do we share? Because like some of us are starting to see, some of us as men, it's difficult for us to express ourselves in these times. That's why you see us sometimes lash out, or we may just get quiet. So tonight we want to talk about that. And fellas, man, let's get into it, man. How y'all been feeling? And we're gonna let our guest talk first. Guest, how have you been feeling since, even before this situation? But how's these times been making you feel as a black man, bro?
It's a gambit of emotion, man. I mean, like there's no one emotion you feel. You feel them all. You know what I mean? You feel anger, you feel fear. It's a little desperation, but it's also you look forward and you hopeful. You know what I mean? That this brings forth the changes that should have been taking place. That we feel a
Mm,
long
mm,
overdue,
mm,
as in just a lot of reforms that should have been happened. We know they should have been happened, but it's hard to really look yourself in the mirror and realize that you are the reason for these issues. Rather than whatever
mm.
role you play, it's difficult for the oppressors to look at the oppressed and say, my bad. Uh, this shouldn't have happened. I should have ended this a long time ago. Because you have to understand that as the oppressor, you benefit from this system.
Mm,
So what you're asking the oppressors to do is remove their advantage and make things level and still try to compete. So that's the difficult part. Like you want me to remove the way I've been winning, even though the way you've been winning is wrong. It's morally wrong. But that's the pill to swallow. And a lot of people, a lot of the oppressors is like, I was born into this. So I kept it going. Like it's
mm,
okay.
mm,
I
mm,
kept it going because I didn't start it. Like if I would have started it, then I'm wrong. But it's a whole lot of stuff that you deal with. And the more you read, then the more pissed off you become. Like the more you study, the more pissed off you become. So in times it makes you not wanna. I'm like, dang, this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'll tell you some stuff I read later when we get into it. Like that really blew me, and I read it as lately as today. And I'm
Mhm.
like, nah, ain't working. But we'll get into it now. I'll drop a couple.
Derek, how
But
you
that's just
feeling,
how.
So,
man? How
you
you
know,
feeling, bro?
it makes me think about. I'll say this. Like DeAlex said, I feel a whole lot of emotions. It just kind of depends on what day it is, to be honest with you, or what
Mm,
happens.
mm,
But going on piggybacking on what DeAlex said, man, I think about genetic survival and how important that is for all people.
mm,
And it's like my question, and maybe you guys can answer this for me. Is like, what role do you feel like you need to play in the genetic survival of your own people? Like, are we responsible for some of what we are in at this point in time, or are we partially responsible for some things, or is it something that we say, okay, you know, I understand that this particular group of people, they're trying to survive as well, and they're actually trying to thrive. And I talk to people about the difference between the two.
mm,
To survive simply means that you're existing, whether through hardship or anything. But to thrive means that you're growing and you're developing through those things.
mm,
Are we responsible for any of the things that? And I understand that there's a system, and I understand that there are people within the system. But what role do we play in our own development?
mm, mm.
You
That's
go first on that, Mo.
oh, that's a weighted question, man. because it's
I
twofold.
don't think so.
It,
I think you just don't want to tell the truth.
no, I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth. Stop it.
Get it,
Hey
G.
man, this our podcast. Chill out, bro.
No, bro. No, tell the truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
No,
Hey,
and
we
he's
gonna
right.
keep it
No, no, no,
honest,
no.
boy.
No, DeAlex, you're right. You're right. And that's why I love you, man. And that's why, both of y'all are my brothers. And that's why I love both of y'all. Y'all challenge me. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. The reality is it's twofold because I know it's going to touch people. It's going to step on some feet different ways. First thing, yes, we do have a responsibility. And I spoke on it last week. One of the first responsibilities, we have to understand we have value. We have to value ourselves. And not in the sense that we try to do it. We try to make value about materialistic things. We don't put our value in the things that are valuable about us, right? So that's one of the first things I believe. Second thing is the other part of it isn't our fault because the system is rigged. It's a rigged system. So it doesn't matter how you cut it. It doesn't matter how you slice it. Even when we do our best, even when we are doing our best, the system is programmed to cut our legs off. It is set up to cut our legs off, right? So our best effort is to remain aware of that reality and to fight it vehemently. We have to fight it vehemently because that is the reality of the world, not just America, the world that we live in. That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't know if that's too over. I don't know if that's
Okay, okay, D.
Now, I mean, I think the answer you answered the question in my opinion, you answered it correctly. I think it's a twofold answer. I think that we are very, very, very much responsible for the state that we're in, and we don't like to accept responsibility. And that's one of the things. Like, I don't like the fact that I read a little bit, not as much as a lot of people, but a little more than most people. But I have brothers like you guys that challenge me. I have conversations with Q. I have conversations with MJ, my homeboy Merrill Jones, who we always want to know, like, the state of Black America, what can we do to fix it? So, but we have to be responsible for what, and I think a lot of Black people want to remain ignorant. And I think if you remain ignorant of what's going on, then you're not responsible. I think knowledge makes you responsible
yeah,
for what's going on. So
yeah.
in this time you come into the know of something, now you have removed the veil of innocence or ignorance, and now you have to act. So to learn something, you have to act. You have to do something about it. So if you know the game is rigged, you gotta either play the rigged game, knowing that is rigged, or you gotta refuse to play the game. And both strategies are necessary. And that's how I see both strategies. I feel like a protest is playing the rigged game. And I think that a revolution or a rebellion or a rioting is refusing to play the rigged game.
Right.
So, but I think both are necessary in order to be successful. I think that we have to get, to be responsible for ourselves and knowing what's going on. But that's the hardest part. Like, you are a problem. We are a problem when we can't see that our buying power is the greatest buying power in America. Like, no one spends, no one spends more money than us, but we the broken people.
Right.
So we broken people, and we spend the most money.
Right. Right.
And you see, but before you realize, Apple Music yesterday, I was unaware. My wife told me you can listen to nothing, you can buy nothing, you can do nothing, but listen to this Black playlist. You want to know why? You want to know why? Because they understand the buying power of Black America.
Wow.
Some people
Wow.
view it and say, "Oh, Apple is on the side of Black people," and my thing is, they have no choice. Because if we ever open our brains and realize, oh, you ain't gonna support us, we're gonna stop buying.
Right.
If we remove our buying power, they know, whoa, 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 hold on. We
Yeah.
know we got white people that's with us, and But the white people don't spend that money like them black
Not
people,
like
boy.
that.
Them black people drop
Mm-mm.
that. Them black people gonna drop that cheese. So
And
we
you know
utilize
what?
our buying power,
And you know
but
what, brother? Speak on that. To keep on that point, we gotta understand that there's a lot of stuff, man, that we don't want to let go of.
that's
We
that's the
don't.
responsibility.
We don't
That's what
want
I
to
mean.
let go of it because we
Like,
assume these lies.
it's a lot of things we don't need, and that we could really get forth a lot of movement if we utilize our buying power. Like I look and I've been reading on, black everybody not buy on July 7th or whatever, not buy. I respect it. I'm gonna not buy anything on July 7th. So feel free to follow me. I ain't buying nothing. If it don't come from a black person, I don't want it and I don't care. My wife sent me to the store today and she told me buy black owned.
Mm,
And I was
mm.
like, what? She's like, you got to go to Target because this black company is sold in Target. I was at Dollar General trying to just pick it up and go. No, I got to go to Target. I got to go to Target, buy the black company,
Yeah.
bring it home. And that's what she desired. I didn't know it was a black company. But as soon as she said it, I was happy to spend an extra 20 minutes getting over there, getting what I needed, just because it's power in us, bro. So we got to support us.
Yeah.
But we also got to value us.
Ah.
And
Yeah.
as long as we like the cake that the white man serving, then we gonna be in the same situation over and over. You gotta take your money and understand that we made the cake that he stole the recipe for. I ain't getting
Woo!
that. I'm gonna leave it right there. But we
Ooh!
can make cake. Go over to us and buy our cake. That white man ice is not colder than our ice.
No, it's
And
not.
that's what we believe. We believe the white man got the coldest ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
gonna
And,
be
and let me tell you something, man. I think Derek, to going back to your question, I think we gotta. That's what goes back to that value piece. If we don't
Mhm.
value who and what we are, what we create, what we make, it's like then we're still waiting for someone else to value us. We're still waiting for someone else to
Well,
give us value. And then in the end, then we're asking, hey, and they're looking at us like, dude, you just need to value. If you valued yourself, you wouldn't need us to do anything. But y'all ain't figured that out
see,
yet.
but here's the problem though. I don't think, and I'm glad D is on here because of his background. My thing is this: I don't think we understand the role that psychology plays in our experience throughout history. And what I'm going at with this is how subconsciously we are like Tina Turner. You know what I'm saying? And we've been up under Ike getting beat for a long time. Now there's a time when Tina Turner got tired of it and she started to fight back. But our people have been the battered women of society. You know, we get beat and we still trying to sit next to them. We get beat, we still trying to live in their neighborhood. We get beat, we still chasing them. You know what I'm saying? So now what we're getting is kind of a fighting back. This is when Tina started going back at Ike. You feel me? That's
yep.
what this whole thing kind of feels like. But subconsciously, one of the things I don't think we pay attention to psychology, and we need more psychologists among our people to help our people understand what's happening to them. You'll go your whole life, you'll go generations being subconsciously affected by things, and you're always kind of trying to figure out how you can solve a problem, but you don't know where it is. We're,
Yeah.
we're, we're we're in the dark and we're fighting, and psychologically, subconsciously, we've been affected, and I think that's something that we need to pay attention to. Psychology has hurt us. Psychology can also help us if used correctly. It's a tool. It's a tool that has been used against us to put us in the situation that we are in. But we need more psychologists, we need more therapists, we need more people like that among us, and we need our people to embrace psychologists and therapists as well, because we have a culture that does not go and get help.
But that's our issue. Is historically, if you go see, I tell everybody when we sitting down talking, I tell everybody I'm not a therapist, but I let everybody go to therapy. Go. And you know what I mean? And it's okay to search around for a therapist. We kind of seem like everybody who has a therapy label is a good therapist. It's no, it's just like Good teachers, good police, good doctors, good everybody. You got to search. Some of them are terrible. Some of them
Yeah.
are great, and you have to be able to search and find them. But if you in a black community and you say you're going to see a therapist, we associate you with being cuckoo. Something wrong
Right.
with you. Because the only time we went and seen a therapist in our culture was to validate should you get this check or not. Keep it 100. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, keep it real. The only time you went and saw these people was to validate is your son, usually it's a male, really crazy, so I can give him this seven, eight, 900, $1,000 a month because he's disabled mentally.
Right.
That's the only time we spent time to see a therapist.
Right.
And when you think about it, I wouldn't want to see a therapist either. If the only people I knew who saw a therapist, we know was kind of loony.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
but where you going? Oh, I gotta go see the little doctor, man. You know, the little shrink, cause I'm trying to get my check right. You know, I gotta recertify, whatever. Like what? And so I don't want to see him either. So I think that stigma has to be removed from our culture. Like if you're seeking help for whatever you're dealing with psychologically, but we also got to understand how it's used against us.
Against us.
Like
Yeah.
Derek said, I had my homeboy, he's an officer, and he told me black people don't value black people. And I said, why you say that? He said, because black people are always killing black people. And it sounds like naturally you want to say, yeah, 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 yeah. I feel you on that. But then when you think about it, unless you're going to read, unless you really researching like I have some of the FBI statistics, then you realize that white people kill more people, white people rob more people,
Right.
white people rape more people,
Right.
white people, all of these things that we want to like villainize black people with, white people smashing us in the numbers.
Mm.
But have
Mm.
you ever heard a commercial, a campaign, or
Mm.
anything that says we need to stop white on white crime?
Mm. Mm.
We,
Oh yeah.
Talk on it, bruh.
And
we don't say
somebody
Talk
that.
on it.
said and somebody said something very interesting. And listen, your preacher is not your psychologist.
Bingo. Please say that.
Your
Bro,
preacher
we
is
have been
not your psychologist.
we have been down that road as a couple, me and my wife, and I promise you, when we finally found a great therapist, I realized what a disservice the leaders of the church had done in this aspect.
Yeah.
And you got to speak on it, on in this aspect of counseling, being able to psychoanalyze, giving people what they need so that they could become better. I
Right.
realized how much of a disservice the church as a whole has done to our people because whenever we get in a little tizzy, we go to the pastor.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he wasn't equipped to deal with this. That ain't even what
No.
his
Right.
degree is in. Like, Mo, you've been to seminary school.
Hey
Does
man,
that make
get my name out your mouth, bruh.
I'm
Get
saying,
my
does that make you a psychologist? I'm asking.
No, it doesn't. And
Exactly.
can I say something? Can I just real
Go
quick? I
ahead,
didn't
bro.
mean to, I like where you're going. Let me tell you
You
something.
good.
As a pastor, for those that don't know, some do know. Some people don't. I am a pastor, but every day I tell people every day, if you have a problem, go see a psychologist, go see a psychiatrist. I tell them, my wife is a counselor. My sister they are mental health counselors. They have their degrees in that stuff, right? And I tell people every day, I understand some of the subject matter, but I am not trained in it. And do
Yeah.
not come to me for that because I can't help you. Because this is what happens. What some pastors have been able to do, and this is why we have so many problems in our community, what some pastors have been able to do, they've been able to manipulate communities, manipulate families, manipulate men, manipulate women. And especially for men, when a man see you BSing him, he sees you trying to trick his woman, or if a woman starts feeling like, or on the other side, a woman sees, wait a minute, you're on my husband's side on this. You just trying to be on my husband's side on this, or you just trying to be on my wife's side of this. People pick that up, and then you use the Bible. Oh, yeah, the Bible. You know the Bible says, and so when we use those terminologies, they really mess up everything. So that's why I agree 1,000%. Your preacher is not a psychiatrist. He is not. Now, there are going to be preachers that may be watching this and you might disagree because you want to be loved and you want to be revered by your people,
But
but
that's not your training.
Right.
that doesn't make it right.
Training. That's not your training, man. If you going and you got a toothache, right? You go to a dentist. You don't go to a phlebotomist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just because you took anatomy and physiology and you understand the body, you know where all the veins and arteries are. You know how to remove blood. What the hell is going on with my tooth, and how can I fix it? You
Right.
go
Yeah.
to a dentist. So
Right.
just because you in the healthcare realm doesn't make you a dentist.
Nope.
Yeah.
Even a heart surgeon is not a dentist. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The heart surgeon goes to the dentist.
Right.
So why is it that we feel because you're a pastor that it gives you a right to tell a man and a woman how to deal with their mental state,
Right.
not how to govern themselves according to the Bible, how to deal with their mental state, like what's
Right.
going on up here. You know what I mean? And if you are not in tune with what's going on up here, you're gonna lead me in a way that, like Mo said, I'm gonna start looking at you funny. I've been to counseling with a woman who was all about what you knew she was, quote unquote, a feminist. It was all about what a woman wanted. As soon as I walked in,
Yeah.
so this is my first and last time coming to you, and that's what I said to her. Like, you crazy. Like the stuff you just told my wife to do. My wife knew it was wrong. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So if my wife said, nah, that don't add up, what you just said. If my wife saying it don't add up, what the hell make you think I'm gonna sit here and keep listening to you?
Right.
That's
Okay.
tough.
And can we talk about the other side of that too? Because not only are they not psychologists or therapists or life, they can probably be a life coach, but you got to get some training in that too.
Bingo.
Not only are you not a professional in mental health, but listen, man, from what I've seen throughout my life, and y'all know
Bingo.
I started with this thing early. You know what I'm saying? Back in high school, yada yada yada, whatever, whatever. I've seen preachers, I've seen clergy do more damage to people than any other person that I've seen in our community. I have seen preachers hurt people, break up families, destroy dreams. I've seen them destroy more dreams than I've seen anybody else in our community. And that is a problem. What can we do to like turn people away? We're not saying turn people away from God. We're not even saying turn people away from your pastor. We're saying appropriate your problem to the right place so that you can really get help. Because
But
you've been in church for 40 years and you're no better than you were day one. And that's
that's
a
what you could
problem.
do. That's what you could do. You can appropriate your problems to the right people. If you have a toothache, go to the dentist. If you have a problem with your mental state, seek a psychiatrist or a psychologist. If you have a problem with your muffler or your engine, you go to a mechanic. Stop making your pastor everything that you need, and also take responsibility for yourself because you know your pastor ain't a mechanic, yet you got him under your hood. You know your pastor's not a dentist, but you got him in your mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm not just gonna sit here and blame just the pastor on
Yeah.
everything. You as a person got to realize that this is what my pastor does. He's a pastor. So if I'm coming to you with some biblical issues, some issues of morality, what's going on, I might be able to lean on you, Pastor Man. But if I'm coming up with a 6-inch gash that's 3 inches deep, I need to see a doctor, a nurse, somebody that can stitch this up and patch this up. I'm not going to my pastor for that. And that's our problem. Like, we got to be able to be responsible for ourselves. I'm not going to sit here and just, oh, the pastor wrong, the pastor wrong. The pastor is wrong. He has to answer for what he got wrong. But you're wrong too for continuing to go to the pastor as what you seen there. You
Right.
seen destruction
Mhm.
that different pastors, not every pastor, because I know some
Right.
amazing pastors,
Yeah.
but the destruction that pastors have caused, then you continue to send people to this pastor and no one says, hey, excuse me, you got a mental issue? Here's a couple of psychologists. My wife will send you some phone numbers to some therapists. You know what I mean? Just because she truly believes in therapy. and that's what it's about.
Can I
D.
tag on that? Can I tag on that real quick?
Go ahead.
Let me tag on that real quick. D, you see what you just said there? I think the reality is, and Derek, I think I got to separate which one I'm calling D. 'Cause I call both of y'all D.
Yeah. Hey,
So
you
Bowden,
good?
I'm gonna say Bowden, Martin, Bowden, check
Yeah.
me out. Bowden, you are so right, but I want to piggyback on what Martin just said. The
ahead.
reality is, guys, a lot of these guys, they get they're where they're at because there are people that like them like that. They like them like that. Like you'll find people. I'm not gonna y'all. I'm telling you. This is gonna be real talk. You'll find people that every church that they've been to, got the same kind of pastor with the same kind of behavior. They usually jump from one church. If they came from a church where there was a womanizer pastor, they go to another church where the pastor's a womanizer again. They go to another church. So then you got to start asking the question, wait a minute, it may not be the pastor anymore. It may be just that person. And it goes back to that dysfunction that you talked about, Derek, in the beginning. Is the fact that we have such a twisted mindset when it comes to religion and our place in the world, right? And not just religion, but how do we deal with things? Somebody just mentioned in the comments Stockholm syndrome. We have that battered wife. That was your wife, matter of
Tina
fact.
Turner.
Yeah, Tina Turner syndrome. Let's just call it Tina Turner syndrome. And what happens is, man, a lot of people are literally in that space. They're in that space, bro. So now that's why you got so many people right now. A lot of their depression is not only just because of what's going on in the world. It's the reality that now the things that they propped up to make them feel good about themselves, they can't have access to them anymore. They don't have access to those things anymore. So that pastor that they've been propping up, they have no access to that pastor no more. That girlfriend or that situation that they had, they don't have access to it anymore. And so they're losing their minds because they've propped up, they have these props that they put everywhere around their lives. So, okay, if I feel sad, I can leave my house, I'm finna go over there, and I'm gonna get my, whatever. And so in this season that we're in right now, this time that we're in right now, man, a lot of people are losing it because all of their, if we, for lack of better words, all of their, like their escapes, all of their escapes are gone.
Let's call it what they really are.
Uh-huh.
For people in a survivor culture, church is your drug. It's your drug.
I'm done with you.
It's your drug.
I'm about to log off because when
It's your drug of choice.
I ain't bought a vest yet.
No.
When they start I ain't with that, bro.
But here's the thing. It's not just church though. It's not just church. My thing is this. All right. When you use something in excess, everything in excess is considered like wrong, right? Like you eat in excess, it's unhealthy. It's even unhealthy to drink too much water. It's crazy.
It is.
All right. So what I'm saying is, just like any medicine, any moderate medicine, when there is an extreme use of drugs or extreme use of medication, this is what the problem is. Instead of keeping things in their place, we've made an extreme use of certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with all kinds of things. There's nothing wrong with church.
In
But when you start using it to cover your pain temporarily, you're not doing anything different than a dope fiend. You're being a dope fiend with entertainment. You're being a dope fiend with reality shows. You're being a dope fiend. You know more about celebrities than you do about your own family. You're a fiend. And that's where we are. We got to get off that, bro.
Bro, you
COVID, listen. The COVID situation shut it all down. And this is why people are going crazy. Yeah. What do people do when you take that drug away from them? They suffer from what?
Withdrawal.
This is what we do.
The reason we want to get outside is so we can relapse. That's what you said.
Yes, we want to relapse.
We wait to relapse.
We want to relapse.
Bro, you tripping, bro. You tripping.
Hold on. Y'all hear the hand clap? Y'all hear the hand clap?
He tripping.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. We do these things to get away from the real reality of our lives.
That's true, Kia.
The real reality is this: we are not wealth building as a whole. We have pockets of our people who wealth build and who
Yeah.
nation build.
Yeah.
We have to nation build across the board.
Yeah.
White people disagree on a lot of things, but they don't disagree on nation building.
No, they don't.
You see what I'm saying? So instead of nation building, or to cover up the fact that we're not nation building, we overindulge in all kinds of things instead of to get away from the reality that we're not.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
COVID kind of shut that down. COVID took your football. COVID took, well, it didn't take football. No, it didn't take
Yeah,
football.
it's okay.
COVID took your basketball.
It's taking
COVID took your
football,
sports
bro.
away from you.
It took everything.
COVID took everything. And guess what? Now you have to sit and you have to deal with the reality of your situation. Honestly, when this thing happened with Floyd, I said, man, this is the worst time ever for a cop to kill a black man because we ain't got nothing else to do right now. We home. Boy, it's gonna be crazy.
Oh, hey, Michelle just said there's still a whole nation to build. Think about that. To build, there's still a whole nation. But you're right, bro. Like, I never thought about that. Like, you killed this dude when we ain't got nothing to do. Oh, you're in trouble. We
No,
ain't
Hey,
they gonna take our mind off this?
We might as well stop right now. I'm done.
No.
I got
And you know
goosebumps.
what?
I literally got goosebumps. I got
And
goosebumps,
you know what
Derek.
he said that was true? It's nothing else to cover. Because we can't go outside, because we can't do nothing, there's nothing else to cover. So CNN, every news outlet, we gotta cover this because it's the only thing popping.
Yeah. We ain't got nothing else to do.
Bruh, I literally, when it happened, the only thing I could say to myself was, how in the world? Wait a minute. You don't got no time. Like, matter of fact, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I first saw the thing happen, bruh, when it first
I got
happened,
time today, homie. Homie, I got time today, homie. Homie, I got time
but not
today.
even just that. No, I was just like, you weren't afraid to touch somebody during this time of COVID? Like, what could you, bruh? I'm afraid, bruh. Listen, I'm afraid to go to the store. I'm afraid to go to the store now, bruh. Let alone put my knee on somebody's neck, bruh. Bruh,
For
hey,
9 minutes.
hey, I love both of y'all. Any other time, if you cuss my mama out, I will fight you. Now, if you cuss my mama out, I might be like, hey, bruh, I'll get you 6 months from now, bro. Don't worry about it. 'Cause I ain't finna touch you. I'm not finna touch you, bro. I'm not finna touch you right now. But to show you the mentality, bruh, look, somebody just put it, no mask, no nothing, just bold and wrong. Bold and wrong. And to me, it's like the mentality, this is so, it's almost like the perfect storm has happened in this country, bruh. But still though, guys, let's be honest. As black men, don't we still feel like, shoot, like I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I think I was telling somebody this not too long ago. I lie to you not, bro. This is the most heaviest I felt in months. But I've been resting. I'm rested, right? Y'all know how I roll. I get up and go. I stay up late. I wake up early. I've been rested, but this is the heaviest I felt in years, man, right?
Hey man, we packing on pounds, bro. We home.
No,
That's
bro.
why you feel here.
I don't know about you. I've been losing weight. Bro. I don't know about you, bro. I'm over here getting sexy back, bro. Watch yourself.
Go ahead, bro.
But I'm telling you, I feel like I know a lot of us have been feeling the strain, though, of all of this, mental stress that's been going on. All of this mental stress, despite the
Rested
fact.
and exhausted simultaneously.
Exactly. So, what do y'all think, man? Derek? I know with your background, what do you speak on that, bro? Because I know there's people watching, there's people that are listening.
You know
They're
what though?
going through that.
I'm gonna tell you when I saw this cop with his knee on this man's neck, and I sat down and watched the whole thing. I know some people said they couldn't get through it. Mm-hmm. I sat down and I watched the whole thing, and it captured me because it made me think about the past 401 years of that very same thing happening to our people. You know what I'm saying? So I looked at it, it was symbolic of what our experience as black people in this country is symbolic of that. And when I saw him suffering, when I saw him begging, when I saw him asking, when I saw him calling for his mom who was dead, when I heard him call for his mom, I was like, he's probably at the stage right now where like he know he's about to die, and it's almost like I feel like I'm transitioning on over. I'm calling my mom. And I've seen people do this. Like, when they're about to die, they start seeing people, they start talking to people, all kinds of things start happening. So when he started calling for his mom, I felt like this man is about to die, like for real. And this cop is not going to get up. But it was symbolic of our experience as a people for the past 401 years.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it, and that's what resonated within me.
I just saw an embodiment of really what was in him. Like it seems like you had to view this man as less than human. Like there's no way that a human, if you like race is what keeps is what binded all this together. It was the foundation of it all. Because I definitely, we don't want to omit that. But if we can eliminate just race at all, like human on human, how could a human put his knee on another human for 9 whole minutes? And the human on the bottom is saying, I can't breathe. The human on the bottom is letting you know his discomfort. And
Yeah,
you're on top, basically in chill mode.
yeah,
Like you're relaxed in a position that is killing another human.
yeah.
So I saw that this officer didn't view this young man as even human. I didn't think, and some people disagree. I don't think when he first put his knee on his back, it was like, yo, I'm gonna kill him. Because it really wasn't a him. It was, I'm gonna put my knee on it.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna suppress and I'm gonna hold it down. But I
Yeah.
don't think he did it with the thought that I'm going to kill it. It was just I'm gonna show you how superior I am to it. And then once it expires, now we're like, whoa, the people around in this pandemic who ain't got nothing else to do have told you, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not a it. That's a him. And then I go, and now we in uproar, we enraged, and I don't know why he's still alive. That's all I gotta say. I don't know why he's still alive.
Okay. So that leads me into this. I saw an article that said that the FBI has been basically warning us, warning law enforcement that a lot of white supremacists have actually infiltrated law enforcement for over for more than 10 years now. So it's crazy that people can, like you can intentionally and methodically put yourselves in positions where you have power over people, where you exercise power over people, and you get away with it because you're an officer or something like that. And it's not just in law enforcement. And this goes back to the conversation about the system. If I have a virus or if I have a sickness within me, my way of dealing with the sickness is not to kill myself. You know what I'm saying? I would go to somebody and I would have them try to isolate it and get it out of me, right? So, in my opinion, we have these viruses in the court systems. We have these viruses in high places in government. We have these viruses in local government. We have these viruses in the prison system that when they see one of us and they hold a certain type of hatred towards us because of who we are, they're more likely to hit us with the book and more harsher penalties and more harsher treatment. My thing is, do we get rid of the system completely, or do we take efforts to deal with the viruses within the system?
It's twofold. See, to just get rid of the viruses does not eradicate the things, the statutes and the laws that have been input in to actually sustain the system.
Right.
So there are statutes and different laws that are passed to keep the system in place. Because the system operates outside of an individual.
Mm-hmm.
So you can remove the president and we still have this presidential system that's there. So
Right.
even if we impeach Trump, you still got to go through the House and the Senate to actually pass all these laws. The highest court in the land is still the Supreme Court because this is a system.
Right.
So we change presidents every 4 years, but we still keep running like clockwork.
But a congressman can stay on till he 100. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? Or
Exactly.
some
Right.
crazy
Right.
stuff
Right.
like that.
That's what
So
I'm
that's
saying.
what I'm saying.
That's what you
Uh,
got to change some of the laws, and you got to weed out the people. We was reading earlier when I was trying to tell you. I read earlier. Um, I was trying to see what we were fighting against, and so
mhm.
Bolden sent me an article, and I'm reading about it, and I'm gonna send y'all the article so you can read the article. But in the article, it says that one thing I didn't know, so I learned from the article today that in most cases, whatever the police have done, their track record is erased in most municipalities in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years, 3 years, anything, any accusations, anything that's leading up
Right.
is
Right.
erased. It's wiped off his record. So
Ooh.
let's think about it. If I pull Mo over and I type in his name, it's gonna say he did 7 years for cocaine. He did 5 years for assault and battery
And
with a
I've never
deadly
done
weapon.
cocaine. Just for the record, never
I
done
just-
cocaine.
I just-
My nose is clean. My nose is clean. Just want to make sure everybody knows
but
that.
what I'm saying is our record follows us.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
once we become a felon, it's even harder to get these things expunged and removed.
Right.
What I'm
Right.
telling you is officers, some in as little as 2 weeks can have their record wiped clean. So you don't see the assault on a black man. You don't see all of these. And then I read in the same article where the investigations, if you're found guilty, you can trade your time for the suspension. What I mean is
Wow.
if you have 40 hours of vacation time and I suspend you for a week, you can just trade your time and keep working. Like
Mhm.
not one
Wow.
day off, not one
Right.
moment off. You just trade in your time like, oh, you suspended for a week. All right, I got 80 hours of vacation time. Take it out of that 80. I'm going to work tomorrow.
Right.
So, what was your punishment? And this is voted on at the local level. And like I said, in many institutions, many times, many discussions, we all took American government. We had to in order to get a high school diploma in the state of Florida.
Mhm.
But my thing is, they didn't teach us one thing about a local election. We learned about the electoral college, Supreme Court,
True.
the
True.
three parts of government. We learned about that. All of that's going on, and we done. We didn't understand that police contracts are negotiated with mayors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a mayor goes in and discusses this police contract. So half of us, I was looking at the Pahokee election. When Pahokee, the census says that in 2018, Pahokee had 6,217 people. People. Shout out to Shirley who said we only had 100 people. But 6,217 were counted as for Pahokee. And when you get right at 1,300 people to vote for mayors, city commissioners, thing. So let's think about that. People of voting age was right around 4,000 some odd people, and we got a quarter of the people to vote, 25% to vote for what happens in your city. Now we cuss out Donald Trump, we follow him on Twitter, we call him an idiot, we do all this other stuff with Donald Trump, who has to go through all of these different checks and balances to get anything done.
Right.
We let our mayor run around with total power. We
Yeah.
let our city managers run around, highest paid employees of the city, and we just let them keep going. We got city commissioners who help vote for these city managers and all. We got these people sitting in these small towns, and it's just a popularity contest.
Yep.
And
Yep.
on top of that, we don't vote.
Yep.
All of the white people in Pahokee get together
And
and they vote.
Belgrade. And
And they
Belgrade.
vote. They vote one way.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is our representative. We voted for this person.
Yep.
We get out and we don't like her because she slept with my homeboy. We don't like him because he used to be pastor of this church. We don't like him because he just came back and he trying to act like he all that because he got all these degrees. And so our vote is split. And so what ends up happening is the white people come in and they get who they want in office, and that person continues to vote in their favor. All of the votes vote in their favor because they've chose somebody that's going to represent what they want and what they desire. These local elections are not publicized. I said last night I have to ask my wife who we voting for. Who we voting for? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who we voting for. Chauncey just asked me for the article. I'm gonna make a quick copy of it. You can go ahead and take out Mo, and I'm gonna put it in the link right now so y'all can
Bro,
see it.
just email it to me real quick. Ain't trip. And yeah,
Okay,
just email it to me and I'll post it. I'll post it for everybody. But let me
okay.
let me let me say something to what you just said, D. It's so funny. Me and my wife were talking this morning, and we talked about how one of the easiest things to your point, Derek, about can we fix certain things up in the system, right? One of the
Mm-hmm.
easiest things that we could do, voting, right? We fight about right now, currently, we as black people fight about the right to vote more than anything else because we're so divided on voting, the very thing that can help us do everything that we want, literally. And it's not like it ain't like we gotta go and do a whole bunch of stuff and we gotta take a test to vote. We don't gotta we ain't gotta do a lot to vote. You ain't got to pay money to vote. You ain't gotta do none of that. You just go vote. But we make the biggest deal about voting, right? Now let's go back to what you just said, Derek. The question you asked. How do can we take away those can we take away that virus but still use the system? But if we don't use the system the proper way, it doesn't matter if we take the viruses out or not. The system is going to be a virus for us then.
Okay, which leads into this discussion. Why is it that we don't like it? It really doesn't take much to be a city commissioner. You
No,
don't need a bachelor's degree.
no.
If you're of legal age and you live in Palm Beach County,
18
it's
years
a
old,
it,
bro.
it, it's just as simple as being a cop as well.
Yep.
Like, so the requirements are not way out there. And
Mm-mm.
as a matter of fact, you can get in without knowing anything about local government. And once you become a city commissioner, you can get trained to function in the capacity of a city commissioner.
Of course.
So why is it that more of our people don't, kind of focus on that? You live in Pokey, you're born and raised, you got a heart for the people, you love where you're from, you love them up, like, run and get more of us in there. Just like I think there should be more black officers. I think there should be more of us in there.
Mm-hmm.
It might not solve everything, but I remember crack shot when we were coming up. Crack shot was respected in our community.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Why don't we police? We got school police now. To on every campus now. Why aren't we taking advantage of opportunities like that and interacting with our children? The purpose of those school police jobs, it is for the safety of the school, but it's also to mend the relationship between black youth and black teenagers and law enforcement.
Yeah.
So why aren't more of us from our community doing that? Like, we have to get involved.
It's twofold in my opinion, bro. First of all, uh, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge when it comes to a city commission. Like we really don't. A lot of people say, "Oh, you can run because it's easy to get there," but we really don't understand the responsibilities of it. You know what it all entails. We
Mm-hmm.
just hear city commission and we like, okay, cool. And then when you see what they're compensated for what they're doing. Most black people are like, oh, we ain't doing this because it's not a boatload of money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not aware of the pay, but I know if it was a substantial pay, more of us would be interested because I know what the mayor makes, which is nothing compares to the city manager.
How
So
much
you
the
like,
mayor make, man?
I don't know if I want to do. Let me look that up right quick, because I remember when Waltz
Hey,
was in there. I
and
don't
and,
want to lie
and,
and see if
and if
he
any
might.
of you all know, please let us know how much the city a city commissioner makes as well.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
to know that.
I
yeah,
think
yeah. That's
it's
cool.
no, it's like it's maybe like a quarter of whatever their salary would. It's like a stipend. They give them like a stipend. I don't know exact numbers, but I know it's a
I want to know
stipend.
the number.
And I don't. It's not a lot.
I want
It's
to know
not a
the
lot.
number. How much they get
It may be
paid, bro.
like it may be, bro. I wouldn't be honestly. I wouldn't be shocked if it ain't just nothing like as a stipend, maybe like 1,500, if that. I'm being high. Yeah, it
Fifteen
may
hundred for what?
a month, 1,500 a month. I wouldn't be shocked. It's a stipend because it's like so you
Does,
can do
does,
gas.
does anybody know what a city commissioner makes?
Somebody gonna find out. Somebody
Hold
gonna
on,
find
man.
out.
Let me go salary.com. Let me find something.
Hey, I'm looking right now. I'm trying to see. I can't find nothing.
I'm going
I
to
don't think no. I don't know if it's
salary.com.
public. It might not be public record like that.
It should be.
I don't think it'll be like. I don't think it'll be like cause it's one of those. It's a weird thing, man. Cause that's like.
I know the city manager make what 133,000 a year. That's what this says right here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't. But I'll tell you this much. Let me go back to something. Let me go. Let's turn back.
Commissioner salary. Hold on, I'm pulling this up.
Okay.
No, that ain't correct. Yeah, that's a county commissioner. We
What
found
is
a
it?
county commissioner. County commissioner making
Okay. My cousin just told me it's 12,000 something, $12,000 a year for commissioners.
yeah,
I
Okay.
knew it
12
wasn't a
grand.
lot. I knew it wasn't nothing serious. 12,000.
$12,017.
Yeah, for a commissioner, for a city commissioner in Florida. Yeah,
12,000.
12,000.
twelve
Yeah,
thousand. I knew it wasn't a lot. I
that's
knew it was
that's
like
that's a grand.
that's
That's
like
a
what
grand a
12.
month.
That's like a grand, right? A grand a month, if that. And the mayor, the mayor
The mayor,
is
95,000.
95,000.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Stop
D,
it,
go
man.
get it.
Stop.
that's what I'm saying. I need
D,
I,
go
I,
get it.
I need to
95.
add that.
Thanks, cuz. Thanks, cuz.
Bro,
Appreciate that,
you would
cuz.
be an amazing mayor. D, you would be an amazing mayor, bro.
I would love to be the mayor of Boulder. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
man.
literally the mayor, bro. Like for real, mayor.
We
Hey
have
man, we vote for DeAlex Martin.
right
That'll be
now.
dope.
Right now.
That'll,
He'll
that'll be
he'll be
super
the,
dope.
he'll be the first mayor of Pahokee to be walking around with an entourage.
Nah, hey, that thing will be lovely.
Entourage full of just dogs.
Hey, I'm just
Hey,
saying,
we gonna make it happen though.
I'm telling you, if you gotta do the
but you
city
know what?
commission volunteer job.
Yeah, that's what it's considered.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what
Uh-uh.
it's considered,
That's
man.
that's the dare say I got his vote. That's what I'm talking about. Right now.
Mayor.
Yeah, mayor.
And somebody said it's based on the city's financial situation. So some cities might give you
Yeah,
more than that. Some cities might give you
yeah,
more.
that's true. I can see that.
So
I can see you making more money as a commissioner in Miami
yeah,
than you would in Polk. I mean,
yeah.
that's I can see
That's why I
that.
said it's like a stipend. They give them like a stipend. It's like a monthly stipend. But
Oh,
you can't go and quit your job, or
yeah, you
you
ain't
ain't getting.
like, you know what? I
Dang.
Nah, you
go in
ain't
my
quitting your
class. I
job.
quit. I'm gonna
Nah,
be
nah,
Certainly.
commissioner in Pahokee. I quit.
nah, bro. You gotta keep working.
Uh,
You gotta keep working. You gotta keep.
uh, okay.
uh,
Wow,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Miss Harper just said. I don't remember when I looked up when I was looking up. I wasn't interested in the mayor position until like last when Waltz was or mayor, but I didn't think he was getting 95,000 a year to be mayor. You know what I mean?
But it
Like
might be dependent on the city though. That's another
it
thing.
could
It
be,
depend
could
because
be.
he may not be getting 95, but he probably was maybe getting 60, 50, depending on the
Yeah,
because you still got
I'm
people paying
saying.
property taxes. You know what I'm saying? So, but let's go back to what we were saying though, y'all. I think the reality is we have an issue in our community, and it goes back to what y'all both said early on. We got that Tina Turner syndrome, bruh. We've been fooled and filled up with so much mess, man, that we don't know, we can't decipher what's best for us. because we've been
But
fed so
it's
much
also what
crap.
we've been fed, though. We've been fed these lies for so long, and in order to debunk what's been told to you, you have to read. You have to study. Like no one comes out and just. We live in a world where we want to go on YouTube and have somebody break it down for us
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
what
yeah,
to think
yeah.
and how to think and when to think. But a lot of it is the literature is out. You're just responsible for reading it. And that goes to me too. Like it is not like when you tell people to read, they're like, oh, just because you smart. And it's like, no, I'm just a little bit, I'm not as lazy as you.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to learn something new. Because when we learn something new, as I said earlier, you're responsible for the knowledge that you got now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm, mm.
I learned, I don't know how long ago was the bottom tray, the bottom rack on a stove in the oven is a warming tray.
I used to put pans in that
I
boy.
thought it was for pots and pans. Yeah, like it's for pots and pans. Like, where's your frying pan? It's in the bottom of the stove. So you pull it out, grab your frying pan, you go to work. But now that you understand that it's a warming tray, you may want to use the device for what it was designed for. It doesn't mean that it can't hold pots and pans.
Right,
Yeah.
It
right,
simply
right,
means that portion of the stove had a design,
right,
and you can use it for what it was designed
Yeah.
for.
right, right.
But if we don't know what it was designed for, we don't somehow come into the knowledge that, hey, this is a warming tray, then we're going to continue to store pots and pans there. And then sometimes we may put some down in there that may melt. And we wonder, like, how did this happen? Because we didn't understand what this was utilized for. You
Exactly,
know what I mean? So we got to be responsible. Once we come into a certain knowledge, then we have to figure out what we do with that knowledge.
but you know what
You
though,
know what I mean?
bro?
And
I
So
think
that's our problem.
that's why a lot of people. I spoke to a friend of mine about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said something to me. He said that's why people love ignorance. That's why they
Yeah.
love ignorance. Because if I don't know, it's better for me not to know than for me to know. Because if I know, then it's gonna eat me up on the inside that I know. You know what I'm saying? And when he
Knowledge
said that
makes
to
you
me,
responsible.
it makes you
okay,
responsible.
but at the same
Exactly.
time, what do we do about the fact that now D, we're in education. All three of us are in education,
Yeah.
and I was in a training, man, where this lady did an exercise, man, and she really kind of got everybody emotional. She told us to take a moment to think about a time when we were either put down, intimidated, or whatnot by a teacher. You know what I'm saying? And to hear the responses of teachers in there, people that were dealing with trauma from a classroom teacher from second grade, and they grown. You know what I'm saying? You 30 years old, and you still dealing with, you have a deficiency that was created by somebody who you value. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is the intimidation of learning that we get from each other and that we get from teachers who don't care enough about us to teach us in the way that we learn. Like we have different learning styles, but oftentimes they try to funnel us into
They,
learning one particular way.
they don't try. They
They
funnel.
do. Yeah.
It's a difference between trying, meaning you may miss it. You actually funnel.
Yeah.
And it starts when you talk about the educational realm. It starts from the head down. Like when we don't understand that there's different learning modes. You know what I mean? Being in a house with a gifted ambassador, a person that's all about gifted, the first thing you realize is that being gifted doesn't mean that you're gifted in everything. It
Yeah.
Right.
means you have one gift.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Right.
Yep.
You
Yep.
sometimes you have more than one gift, but you at least got that one gift, and it's a
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
gift.
Yeah.
But that makes you deficient in other areas. And how can you be gifted and deficient? Because no one said you was perfect because you was gifted.
Right.
You were
Right.
simply gifted. And because of that, people teach one way because the state says you must teach that way. And then you got to understand that people that are in positions of power are not in positions of power, i.e., our principles. You must do what they say when they say, and somebody is coming in to check and they want to know how that looks. So once
Mm-hmm.
you tell the principal how that looks, that's the only thing most principals accept in their school. So we've all been put on this assembly line, and
I
so we
like that
kind of
word. I like that word.
manufacture the same car
Yep.
over and
That's
over and
real
over. But
good.
these are people. These are people. So when you manufacturing the same car, to keep it simple, Derek is shorter than me. He's smaller than me. How can you make Derek a SUV? You can make
Right.
me an SUV,
Yeah.
a
Right.
full size SUV. I'm a big boy, but Derek is smaller. So you can't take Derek and make him an SUV. But
Right.
in this assembly line of education, they try,
Yeah.
and then you wonder why Derek can't hold up pulling the boat. You see what I mean? Because he
Right.
wasn't designed for that.
It
Right.
wasn't
And if you
designed for
taught
him.
him, you taught him the way he was designed, then you could have got whatever you need. It's a sports car. He could have been running with the sports cars,
Right.
but you
Hmm.
paid him a SUV.
Right.
What do
So
you think
now,
about? So what do you think about the saying, like, we all heard this before, if you want to hide something from a black person, you put it.
in a book,
All right. So what does that saying say about what does that say about how people feel about us and how we feel about ourselves?
two things. We weren't taught to read in the beginning, so a lot of literature was hidden. A lot of things were hidden for us in literature. Second thing is we've become lazy and we've bought into what they gave us. Because if you actually got to read a book, you are in trouble. Real talk. And there's no excuses because I listen to books. So
Hmm.
we have audio books for the people that don't want to. I listen to books. My wife is like, "Oh, you take the lazy way out." But however, she do understand that I'm an auditory learner,
Right.
so I
Hmm.
grasp the same information that
Right.
she does. She tells a
Right.
joke, but she encourages me to listen to audio books. Baby, you should listen to your book. Listen because that's how I learn. She likes to physically hold her book, highlight stuff in her
Hmm.
book. So that's the way she learns. But do we actually read? It's not sexy.
Hmm.
It's not. It's hard to find a group of how many men, real talk, how many men you know in book clubs? And you two brothers are educated.
Yeah.
How many male book clubs do you have? Anybody who in the comments, how many male book clubs have you ever seen? Do you know people involved in?
Bro, listen, I tried to start one and I got crickets. Because I was like, I'm gonna help my people. I'm gonna start this book club. We're gonna get this book.
You want to know
And
why?
why?
Well, because it has a lot to do with what we value. It has another thing to do with testosterone. The flying around word is toxic masculinity.
Masculinity.
That's what everybody want to use. But if
Yeah.
you actually read, it makes you less masculine in the eyes of the females.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it's not really in the eyes of the female. I'm not blaming the women, but you got these women who are not all the way women who like, oh, he's spending time reading. Because if you spend the time reading, you spend the time away from other stuff. So when she wants some attention, you got your face in the book.
Yeah.
So now you become that's sort of a female trait. Who are the good readers in class? The
Girls,
women,
women.
the
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
You
Girls
grab
read.
the girls, they can read. So now you really indulging in things that females indulge in.
But
So
let
it
me say,
becomes a sex thing.
let me cut you out.
Go
Let
ahead.
me cut you out. Men by tradition, especially black men, black people, we come from a oratory tradition. That means speaking. You tell me the
Yeah,
story. So
yeah,
that's why you notice we have more male comics, more black male comics than we do have more female comics, right? Because black men, what do we like to do? We like to tell a story. We want to tell you what's going on because we got to listen to you. We want to feel the energy of the story that you're telling us. But you go read a book, I got to sit there, I got to read these words. I might fall asleep reading these words, you know what I'm saying? So I don't all the way blame it on us as, I don't want to say we just don't want to be a part of it. Um but I think also though we do have to encourage people to find ways to educate themselves, right? To find ways to understand things. You know what I'm saying? Because like for me, I'm like you, D. I'm like you, Martin. I gotta listen to it. sometimes what I used to do, I used to have to walk around and read my book because I couldn't sit down and read my book because I would fall
You
asleep.
got you got ADHD. You need to be on medicine. Your mama need to check for you. You weird. Something is wrong with you. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
something wrong with
Bro, I used to have to literally when I was in college. My sister can tell you this. When we was at fam, she could sit down and read a book in a day. I used to be like, how you do that? In a day she could read a book. It would take me the same book. It would take me a week to read it, right?
you.
And for
Yep.
me to read it, bro, I literally have to pace myself. I am gonna do 3 chapters today, and
That's
most of
me.
that I have to do 3 chapters, and I have to be walking around. It looked like I'm being smart, but I'm just trying to stay awake. I'm just trying to stay awake and walk around.
That's me. Like I have to. I'm weird, and I admit I taught my kids that too. Like I had to divide the book,
Yeah,
and I was okay if I read further, but I wasn't okay if I didn't meet my goal. So it was like 3 chapters a day. I should finish this in 6 days.
yeah,
But if I
yeah,
got into the book and I read 8 chapters that day, I ain't mad. You know what I mean? I'm ahead of the schedule.
yeah,
But if I had to divide the book, or I won't read it. I'll just be like,
yeah.
I'll read some more some other time. No, I have to like set myself up in it. But I'm telling you, your mama missed out on a check, bro. Like
She
that's
did.
what they do to black men.
For
But the
me, for
problem
me
is,
and my brother. For me and my brother.
but you was going if they would have ever gave you the meds, you wouldn't have finished college. You wouldn't have went to college.
Nah,
You'd have been on another path. That was my
another
point. Like
way another
Yeah.
path.
you,
But
you
you know
are
what though?
different.
To go back to the question that Derek asked, it's like I think we got to look at the fact that for many of us, for many of our in our culture, in our communities, the problem is, man, people have been so turned off to being to learning. They've been so turned off to understanding things. And then now when it's time for them to learn, now they want to know. They're scared because they're like, wait a minute, if I go learn, am I gonna get disappointed like when I was a kid? Am I gonna be disappointed again? Am I gonna be made felt to feel like I'm dumb again? I just
Mhm.
want to know what this is about. I want to understand it in my way so I can apply it to my context. I mean, in a nutshell, that's what people just want. They want to be able to understand things. They want to be able to be. They want to be able. Listen, let me tell you something. We, y'all, you see, we're talking about this whole thing with this guy with George Floyd dying and all the protesting. I guarantee you, right? I'm gonna just talk for the muck. I'm gonna just talk for the muck. 35% of the people, let me say 45% of the people living in the muck have no idea that this is going on. I can guarantee it.
Nah, can't
Bro,
be.
Yep.
It's
I don't
no,
know.
bro.
Yeah, man.
It's
Yeah,
it's a
bro.
All right.
pandemic, bro. We ain't
No,
got
bro.
nothing else
Yeah.
to do.
We ain't got nothing
Y'all,
else to do, bro.
Yeah,
yo,
if you
you're
told me
talking.
that last
No,
July, I'm
no,
with
If
you.
if you told
no.
me that during
You're
football
talking.
season, I might
No,
believe you.
Yeah,
no,
I'm with you.
bruh. I'm telling you, you can get on the street right now. You can go on the street right now. Ask them, bruh. You know what's going on? They're gonna be like, yeah, man. I heard that this virus out here, bruh. No lie.
Ain't
They're
wait,
not
we ain't
gonna.
got nothing else to do, bro.
Bruh,
We
you're
yeah,
talking
we
about
know.
you. No, you're talking about us. We don't have nothing to do. Them, the majority of our people in our communities, bruh. I lie to you now. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give
I
you an
don't know,
example.
man.
No, I'm gonna give y'all an example.
I
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
give you
listening.
an
saying,
We
like,
example.
listen. We listen.
Listen, in the Haitian community right now, right? In the Haitian community right now, when the virus first hit, when the virus first hit, I remember I was in church and I was telling the people, I said, hey y'all, just start being more precautious. We have this disease out here. Literally, I had at least 20 people come up to me and after this was like in March. It was like March 8th, March 15th. They came to me, they were like, what virus you talking about? I was like, you haven't been hearing about the virus that's on out here? What virus you talking about, right? And then, not
Right.
that's March 8th, right? That's March 8th.
All
Now
right.
let's rewind. Let's rewind to April 8th. We're in it. We locked down. We in this thing.
Okay.
We were sending out phone calls to people. There were people asking me, what are you talking about? What virus? I was like, what? I said, ain't no way you don't know about this. They're like, no, what are you talking about? What
All right.
virus? All I know is I go to
So
work. I just go to work and I don't know what's going on. I'm like,
so what we're saying is this. Only thing we're saying is this
uh-huh,
is that that's kind of anecdotal. What we're saying is
uh-huh.
The people that you just mentioned in your church are not a representation of 35% of the people on the moon.
Yes, they are. No,
What?
yes, they are.
Bro, come
I'm
on.
telling you, bruh,
All
bruh.
right.
Man, sit down
Go to
somewhere,
Win.
man. You feel-
Go to Win Dixie. Go to Win Dixie. No, no. I live in
you know what?
Berkeley.
This,
Go to
this,
35%
Win
of the
what-
Dixie
people on the moon
tomorrow.
go to your church.
No. Go to Win Dixie.
this,
No.
this
Go
what I
to
want you
Win.
to do.
Go. No.
I
I
want
want
you to
you to
say,
do it. I
yo,
want you to do it. I live out here.
no,
I want you to go to Win Dixie tomorrow. I want you to come to Berkeley. Go to Berkeley and Pahokee. Come to Berkeley because Berkeley bigger. Berkeley bigger. Go to Win
Hey,
Dixie. Go to
so now we're
now.
doing this, D.
Go to Win Dixie.
Go
Go to
ahead.
Win
Go
Dixie.
ahead.
Take a poll. Hey man, you hear what been going on in the country? Yeah, man, you know there's a virus out there. Yeah. No, no, no.
bruh,
We talking about the protesting. What protesting? That's what they gonna say. What protesting?
bro, listen, this is what I'm trying to tell you right here. Listen, real talk, real talk. But we got time, bro. We ain't got nothing
You
but
got
time, bro.
time.
We,
You got time.
listen, bro. We own this, bro. We own this. And if
Hey,
you don't know, we'll tell you. But
hey,
as I was
back,
saying,
go ahead, go ahead.
let's get focused on this. I want to
I'm
say
messing
this.
around. Messing around with you. I'm
Real
messing around
talk.
with
We gotta get to a point. I saw Morano's cousin was like, literature is big in our house, and people, she demand that they read. She started a book club with her son,
Yep.
and they got two
Yep.
boys,
Yep.
right? Two.
Yep.
I don't know if she got two boys or she was saying two boys
It's
are
two boys in the
involved in it.
group. She got a son, and it's another
Yeah.
black boy in the group. Yeah.
Okay. But what I'm saying is we don't we don't really have our boys to actually read books, any books. And I ain't even talk about just like, oh, go read about Malcolm X or
No,
something or
no,
whatever.
no,
No,
no.
what I'm saying, just to even read a book. I have read books, and I can tell you this, being totally honest, what made me become I'm gonna read a lot of nonfiction stuff because I want to know. But what made me read for like just to be reading and getting into books was women. To be totally honest, they were like, I'm like, why y'all read so
I had a
much?
bad
And I
thought.
wanted to, I want, I wanted to be able to, I wanted to be able to communicate with them,
Right,
you know,
right,
and make small talk.
right,
That
right.
that's gonna get me where I want to
I
go with
know,
them. You
right,
feel
right,
me?
right, right,
I'm
right.
just
I know.
saying.
That's what I
But so that made me read more. So I started reading like, okay, and then I realized like some of these books are good. Some of these
said.
people are great authors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and different things of that nature. But at the same token, it took a woman to lead me into reading. It wasn't a male. It wasn't my dad. It wasn't my stepdad. My stepdad one of the smartest men I ever met, and never once did he come to me and say, "Son, you should read this book. You should." My dad wasn't into reading like that. Even my granddad. My granddad will give you the Bible. We read the Bible together. We studied the Bible together. But my granddad, I never seen my granddad pick up any other piece of literature.
Right,
So
right.
for what I see, all the men that I idolize my granddad, my dad, and my stepdad, and what they gave me. None of these brothers read. None of them. So, I run into, my pastor right now, when I run into Kenny Bear, that's all he do.
Mm,
So now I'm like, so black men read.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so luckily I had already ran into these women that started me into reading. So me and him was able to connect and vibe and share books with each other. He was like, "Oh yeah, you should read this," and I'm like, "Okay, I got you. Let's read this. Let's read that."
Mm.
But I've never seen that. So when and how do we see? Because women try to teach us everything,
Mm.
but it feels different when it comes from a man.
Yeah.
It feels different because we are a group of people that like to emulate what we see,
Mm.
Mhm.
and I've never been able to emulate a man as I was a young boy. So how do we get our young boys into reading when men don't read?
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're
It's
gonna be fathers of young men who don't read,
yeah.
who have become fathers of young men who don't
Don't
read,
read.
and then we got this perpetuated cycle.
Yeah.
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 So I
You
don't
know
know.
what? My thing reading for me was, I approached reading like kind of like a scientist, man. Like it was my way of like going to another place in
Mm.
my mind without physically going to another place.
Mm.
And then when I realized how like it's cool to know certain things that like the average person kind of don't know. You know what I'm saying, bro? True story. If you ever want to freak out a white man, if you ever want to completely freak a white man out, bro, go to Barnes and Noble, get a book, and just read,
But
bro.
you gotta have on a hat. You gotta look like a brother. Don't go
Yeah,
in there with no suit and tie on.
yeah,
'Cause he gonna assume
bro.
you on his side. You gotta look
They,
like a brother and pull out a book.
bro, they will walk past you 50 times. Like, what is this black dude reading?
They will
Like,
ask you what you're reading.
yeah,
I
and
bet
walk
it.
up to you and ask you.
Yeah, like what are you
They
reading?
they can't help
Yeah.
it. They
No,
cannot help it,
it's
bro.
that's real.
They go.
That's real. That's real.
It's
That's real.
crazy.
That's now. I lie to you not. I only started reading because I got beat into reading.
Ooh,
I got beat into
Good
reading.
lord.
Yeah,
ooh.
my mom.
You
Going back to women. This is just going back to
so
women.
A woman
My
taught you
mom,
too.
the woman taught me too, but another way, right? So my mom only has a middle school education, right? So what she did,
uh-huh.
her and my dad, they bought back in the days. You know how guys used to go around? They used to sell those sets of encyclopedias for kids and stuff
Yep.
like that. So my mom bought
Everybody
a
had
whole.
those.
Everybody had those. They had the ones for the
Yeah.
kids, and then they had the real good ones. And
Yeah.
bruh, she bought that thing. After we did our work, we had to read at least a chapter. From that, we had to read at least a chapter or whatever, and then we had to write something for. Mind you, my mom did not speak English. My mom did not speak English. We had to write for her in English what we just read, right? And if we didn't do it, if we BS'd her, we would get a whooping that night. I got many a whoopings because I tried to BS her. I tried to BS her, and I thought, oh, she ain't gonna know what I'm writing about. And then she just looked at it and she said, "You don't know? You think I'm stupid?" She went and she said, "Go get the belt." She just said, "Go get the belt. You must think I'm stupid." And she just proceeded to.
No, 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 no. You gotta say that in Creole.
She said,
Yeah,
"I shot." She said, "I shot shit since you won."
Yeah.
I shot shit since it. Go get the belt, and I would have to go get the belt. And then and my brother and my sister. I wonder if my brother and my brother and sister can attest to this. My brother and my sister, they saw the whoopings I got, so they knew already. Well, if she can beat him, she will beat us. So they would read. They
And
would
they were
read.
right was
They
correct.
were right. Was correct. Right.
Yeah.
But I thank her every day for it because literally that is one of the reasons why I had an understanding of certain things, a lot of things. That's why I understand, like Derek said, you have an understanding of certain things. And it's like we can have this conversation
Yeah.
despite the state of this world. We can have a conversation about what's going on intelligently and clearly so people can understand because we have read, because we have dived into certain things and stuff like that.
Two things. Michelle and what her name? Takesha?
uh,
Yeah, they going in on us. First of all, they said some good stuff. Scent was like DeAlex, I know you forever, so I knew the answer to that question about women and books way before it even came out. So I ain't dealing with her. But Michelle said, start a book club. That's
right.
a good one. So for one question is for all the dudes that's here, how many of y'all would actually join a book club with a group of dudes that we could discuss what's going on with an actual book, rather
Right.
it's an auditory book that you
Yeah.
listen to if you're an auditory learner, a physical book you got to hold, or a book you download to your phone. Secondly, Michelle Derek said that Derek Michelle said that the white man don't want you to know more than him, so he got to see what you're doing to figure out what you're doing.
You know
Um,
what?
yeah.
I'm okay. I'm glad she said that. I think part of our you talked about our laziness at what point, and one of the things you got to understand about white people is that they quantify everything
Yeah.
and they study everything. And if we're in this system and we're lazy about doing that, there's no way you're going to be able to really compete.
Mm-mm.
You have to quantify it. You have to study. Like,
It's,
bro, check
it's
this out, bro.
analytics. It's analytics. They
Yeah, it's
go in
analytics.
and put numbers to everything.
Right, bro. Check this out. So you ever wonder why? What's the phrase? Nice guys finish
Last.
Last.
last, right? And so do nice girls. You hear that. You hear that more about guys than girls, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I said this in another podcast, but it's like when I study etymology and I look at the word nice, it makes sense why the phrase "nice guys finish last" exists. Because the word "nice" actually comes from a word "nise," which means ignorant or stupid. You come in last because you're stupid. The word "nice" actually means ignorant or stupid. This is why people who are nice and don't assert themselves always end up on the short end of the stick. They always end up losing. Now it makes sense to me. This is why I like to read and this is why I like to study because it makes life make sense. You see what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm on here.
What's
Hold
that?
on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
I'm just looking up what exactly you just said.
Yeah. Check out read the
Wow.
etymology of the word nice.
That's
Wow.
what I just typed in.
Read that, bro.
It's a Latin word. Um, it's nisir, to not
Hmm.
know.
To not
Latin
know.
nisus is ignorant, and in Old French, nice is stupid. So it's ignorant, not know, and stupid.
So you should finish last if you are
A nice guy.
nice.
Yeah,
You
I,
should finish last.
I never
That's
see.
crazy.
You're doing too much, bro. You're doing too
This
much.
is bro. This is why I love to study. This is because you come across stuff, and the thing is, you think you know what things mean.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But doesn't that make more sense to know that? Now you understand why nice people finish last. But
Wow.
they tell you to be nice. This is
Ah.
crazy.
Hold on, I gotta give a hand clap on that. Hold on, right quick. Hold on. I gotta give
This man here so crazy.
gotta give a hand clap on that one. That was. And you know what, fellas? I really think we gotta this, and this is why we're trying to remove our people from this nice ignorance. We have to get them away from this, and I think these conversations that we are having openly, gives people the ability to talk and to share. Because man, let me be honest with you, man. In these times that we are living right now, there are so many emotions, there are so many thoughts, there's so many feelings right now, and people are trying to figure out how to deal with them. And the fact that we can have this conversation like this, man, is messing people up. And I'm when we thankful to everybody that's listening right now, that's watching right now, and your comments, because you're helping us see that you're understanding where we're coming from. We're understanding the situations that are happening. And let me tell y'all something, fellas. The fact that we are able to talk to our kids about this and be able to open up their minds to this is what's going to be a game changer, man.
Why Sid said I was doing some fact checking on the word nice. That
Yeah,
shit ain't no good, boy. Shit ain't no good.
yeah,
Nah, but
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, bro, you said something earlier because Dean was supposed to be here, and it directly ties into the whole book club idea. What did you say about slaves and what masters in the South? What did you say earlier?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was saying that I was hoping Dean was going to be on here because there would have been more than it would have been more than three black men congregating talking. Because in slave times, you couldn't have more than three black men. More than three black men could not be congregating because it's considered a gang. They're considering that they're planning a revolt. So if he would have been here, I was going to start off the podcast with, man, we doing something really illegal here right now. We
Yeah,
doing
I mean,
something really, and we still
that,
are. We are doing it technically.
that
Yeah.
still goes back to us talking about a book club. You have three or more black men breaking all kind of laws. We're reading. We're
Hmm.
Mm.
di- we're coming together, even if it's Skype, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever. We're coming together to discuss what we read, to question some of the literature, to fully understand it. And you like, man, like that's powerful that
Yeah.
young black men can come together so that, and then you got to understand that our kids emulate what they see. So if you
Exactly.
are a father of a son, he's saying, "Well, my daddy reads. I told you I had great men in my life, and not one of them read. So it's hard for me to even start. So if your
Yeah.
son actually see you reading,
Mm.
and no disrespect, not just picking up the Bible,
Ex-
you see what I'm saying?
even no, that's not disrespect. That's even worse.
Like, that's the only book we ever seen you read was the Bible. So
Come
it's
on, man.
like,
Come on.
whoa. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you wanna actually allow your kids to see this. But I'm serious, if anybody here wouldn't mind joining, a book club, and every book that you read doesn't have to be so heavy. I like to
Nah.
bounce in between, you know what I mean? Because a lot of
Yeah.
people think if you're a black man and you're reading, it's got to be something like you want to
Gotta be.
just revolt against
Yeah.
everybody. You gotta understand that some books are light, some books are
Yeah.
heavy, some books are fun. It's like a movie. You're
Yeah.
not gonna sit around and watch every movie that involves the state of Black America and how we
Nah.
gonna revolt. Some of them are gonna be some funny. You
Bruh,
know
let
what
me
I
tell you
mean? Something
something.
different.
One thing I did when I think I was in college. I don't know if I was in college. I was getting my master's. I don't remember which one. I read a book about. I was reading books about frequencies. Just real heavy scientific. It was just scientific jargon. Most of it I didn't even understand, right? But then I told one of my homeboys, I'm just reading this book. I just want to just get into this. I'm just thinking about this stuff. It's just been on my brain. And he was like, bro, do you know what you doing? He said, bro, you are really thinking outside of your sphere. I was like, what you mean? I just said I just thought about it. I just wanted to just look at it. He was like, nah, man. Only people that do stuff like that are people that are plotting to kill somebody. It's like you thinking about something, like you doing something out of the sphere of your thinking. You say, are you plotting to do something to somebody? I was like, nah, man, I ain't trying to hurt nobody, man. But he said, but nah, but like people that usually do that, at least in other groups, they are trying to understand something to go and destroy somebody and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I'm not into that, but I'm just trying to learn something that was just on my brain. And I think we got to get people, like you said, D, to just be able to think outside of the framework of what they know and read things that they never thought about, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I agree. So, switching up, guys.
Yeah.
The next question is, as a people in general, what are some things that we need to do as a whole? Like, what are some things that, like, considering what's going on? I will say this: when people started protesting and everything or whatever, the term that I put out there is reverse propaganda, and I was like, take out your cell phones, catch everything. And I'm telling you, like, you start seeing people, undercover cops with the thing still in their ear trying to hide it. You know what I'm saying? The handcuffs in their back pocket. You
Mm,
start
mm,
seeing
mm, mm,
officers actually in alleys planting bricks
mm,
and things like this or whatever. Like,
mm,
we're seeing
mm.
people within the crowd who are not there for the real cause of George Floyd, but they're there to plant things to entice people to destroy property and things like that. So I was like, man, listen, let's simply just reverse propaganda. And I
Yeah,
like the fact that they've been catching these
all of
jokers
them.
in the act.
Yeah,
And I love it, man. So
yeah.
I kudos to our people for that, man. I can say that I'm really happy that that's the approach that we were taking in this regard.
But you know
So
what? It shows you though, bruh, that this thing is messy. It's messy, bruh. And that certain forces, going back to the system, there's certain forces within the system that have to discredit anything that speaks to it, anything that discredits it, it got to speak to it. And just seeing folks, I remember I saw one video of a young lady in Atlanta, no, in LA. She caught two white girls tagging Black Lives Matter. And she asked them, who told you to do that? She asked them, who told y'all to do that? No, y'all ain't, oh, leave us alone. She was like, hey man, get out of here with all that. Like
yeah,
caught them on tape and everything,
Some
bruh.
some black people told us to do it. That's what they said.
That
They
what they
said
said?
some black
yeah.
people. Yeah, they said black people told us to
You
do it.
hear that?
I said, "What black
Yeah.
people? We right here."
We right here. And I was
Hey
like,
D,
wow.
man, I saw a police officer with 9 boxes of Nikes, bro,
Yeah,
putting
he
them in
got
his
nine
truck.
boxes. Put them in his truck. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I seen the police with the 9 boxes of Nike. I'm talking about stacked like he just hit.
But
He hit the store himself.
yeah,
Bruh. Like I literally couldn't
so
believe it, bruh. I saw that picture, I was like, dang. And then they gonna say it was me, it was y'all, it was us that was taking it, right? That's what they gonna tell us. It was us. We the one who were taking it. But bruh, I really believe this shows us that we are fighting. It goes back to the Black Panthers when they talked about COINTELPRO. We're seeing COINTELPRO in action right in front of us while we're seeing a movement, a revolution happening we seeing the works of COINTELPRO happening right in front of us, broad daylight, and we're just like, wow.
It's man, I can't believe what I've been seeing. Just being honest and what's going on, and with you saying what can we do? We gotta undo some of the system of it all, and then we gotta be you gotta choose a side and stay on your side. And what I mean by that, if you for the peaceful protest, be peaceful and stay on your side.
Mm,
Don't be lukewarm. Be hot, hot or cold, cold. If you for tearing up stuff, then you stay on the side of tearing up stuff. Because as I said, in my honest opinion, you need both people to make it happen. You
Right.
need the people that are peaceful to bring in the cameras to watch and to see, and you need the Hellraisers to let you know we not playing. It
yeah.
ain't just we need Martin and we need Malcolm. You
Yep.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
We need
Yeah.
both of these people because
Yep.
we
Yep.
done been Martin long enough. We
Hmm.
need a little bit of Malcolm. Like, listen, we gonna be respectful. We gonna be peaceful. We gonna do all that. But as soon as you touch me, we gonna set it off. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep.
I'm mad at Lil Boosie right now, but that's the feeling I'm feeling right now. Like we gonna set it off. We gonna
Yeah.
set it off, man. You know what I mean? So let's set it off,
but
and
but
but we need both people.
but
We
D,
need
And
both
you said
sides.
you said
and
something to me the other day, and is that we don't want to talk about the fact that there was other protests before this. Remember, y'all remember in April when them boys was in Michigan and they came up there with them rifles.
But yeah, see that
Now, now you remember that, right? And
I was
nobody threw a
inspired by
tear
them.
gas. Nobody threw a tear gas. Nobody threw a rubber bullet because them boys came ready with that fire, and
But
they were
that's what I told
hoping.
you.
They were hoping.
They inspired me to go ahead and arm myself, arm your family, arm everybody, because like people, the one thing if you read, they'll say, well, when the guys went up in Michigan, they didn't burn anything. There was no violence. It was a peaceful protest. That's what we mean by protest. I agree. It
Okay,
was peaceful.
peaceful.
But
It
what you
was.
didn't tell them was it was peaceful because you didn't want it to get ugly. Like we stand out with signs and we saying no justice, no peace. We're just walking on the sidewalk. We're
Right.
not even blocking the road. And you come out here with your tear gas and your rubber bullets and your horses and your everything else. You running over people, you gassing people and everything else. And then you wonder why people are becoming violent. When
Yeah.
them boys went up in Michigan, I was amazed. You could look up the video. I saw police officers using a thermometer to scan the forehead of armed people as they walked into the Capitol building. Like you're armed
Right.
with AKs, all of these assault weapons. You're armed with them, and the police is saying, "Hold on, sir. Beep. Oh yeah, your temperature good. You can go."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
I
went to
saw
the
that.
Capitol to cough on officers. Like they're gonna cough on. Just think about that now. In a pandemic, you're going to the Capitol to cough on people to demand that they open up the world for
Yeah.
you. You're gonna demand it, and we want Michigan open, and you're gonna open it up right now. Now we ain't went over to Oregon when they was it Washington State of Washington or Oregon, one of them, when they ran up in the building with the pistol and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. That was
No,
like yeah. A few
but
years back. Yep. Yep.
what I'm
Yep.
saying is this: when you arm yourself, you could be peaceful because they're gonna be peaceful. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, there's no need to get stupid and start shooting. No, it's like if you think about the Wild Wild West, everybody had a pistol.
Mhm.
So when you start arguing with somebody, the bar owner didn't tell you you couldn't argue. He said y'all could take that outside.
That's it.
Why? Because outside y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. But you ever notice that nobody in the Wild Wild West turn around, man, who you talking to? And go to point their pistol. 'Cause everybody got pistols. So as soon
Yep.
as you turn and say something to him, the four bartenders don't pull out they shotties.
They
The
gonna
the
pop
four
you.
people in the back who come there every week, they don't pull out their gun. They like, you really don't want these problems. So just go outside and nobody got shot.
That's it.
Yeah.
But now, what we do is it's hard to be peaceful when the person who telling you to move, you're unarmed and they are armed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
of course, they're a little more aggressive with you because what you gonna do?
What you
Yeah.
gonna do?
I got machines, like machines.
Yeah.
Guns are machines. So I
Yeah.
have machines on my side. You come in with just a rock?
Yeah.
No. But now if you got machines and I got machines and we're on the level playing field, now I got to use my voice. Excuse me, sir. Let me get y'all to
Hey,
go ahead and
can
step
y'all stay
back.
on this side right
Yeah,
here?
just make sure you're behind that line. We don't want to
Right.
go ahead and place some barricades right here for you guys. And you
Right.
protest all day. We just want to make sure that the traffic can get through. No problem, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sir. You
Yeah.
answering me, sir, now
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
you see what I got in my hand.
Yeah. Yep.
And a
Yep.
lot of times, what the white boy showed up with bigger guns than the police got.
Who?
So the police got just a little service revolver or the service
Mm-hmm.
weapon.
Who?
Them boys got that shoot through your house.
They got them
They got
Yeah.
that
Dracos.
ooh They got the stuff that we rap about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They came up with
Fully,
it strapped across their
fully
chest
loaded. Fully
with
loaded.
with the extendo clip. They weren't playing. I'm talking about they
Bruh.
boy got 50 shots.
Extendo clip. What they call that? Modified with
Y'all
modifications
with the sights.
with the
With the
sights.
sights. I'm
Ready.
talking about laser line, everything. Guess what?
Everything ready
Now,
for the.
now we like, okay, I'm sorry. I understand you. No problem. I know you want us to open up outside. We're gonna vote on that, within the hour. Just give us time.
Give us some
We
time.
don't want any problems.
Right.
We would have went up there just walking, no guns. Y'all would have pepper sprayed us. Y'all would have arrested a lot of us. You see people
Mm-hmm.
getting slammed. You got your little zip cuffs. You ain't have none of that in Michigan.
None of that.
You know why? Because you
Yeah.
didn't want them problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't want, and it was white boys in the back who didn't walk in the building with the sniper rifles and the big rifles on top of the truck.
Yep. Yep.
Who like, yeah, I'm gonna knock a lot of y'all off before y'all get to me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they ain't want no problems. They let the
But
white
see,
boy,
but see, they were organized as well.
yeah.
They're organized, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just I think that, you know, we need to I think we need to learn how to love and trust one another again.
Ooh.
As a people. D, you're an educated man, and it's crazy that you really want to do more for your people because you understand the psychological things that's going on,
Yep.
but we have we have a tendency to not respect the expertise of the other individual,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're black. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like we have to strangers have to love us for our own people to even consider us and respect what we work so hard to get. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I think that you know that's one of the things that I see, man. Also, like we don't respect one another's gifts, we
Mm-hmm.
don't respect one another's expertise, and oftentimes we trust another more than we trust our own people. We're born and raised right here, and we got psychology backgrounds, and we want to help, but it's like, that's just DeAlex. I don't want to know your business. I don't want to get that. You know what I'm saying? I want our people to continue to develop and grow. So
Yep.
whether it be a class or whether it be a book or whatever, like I always say, everything that you have is a tool, and that should be used as an instrument of your personal growth and your personal freedom and liberation, and the same for your people.
Yeah.
If everything is a tool, it should be used for the growth of yourself and others. Like that's how I look at it. Even the Bible. The Bible is a tool.
Yep.
Now,
Mm.
tool, you can use a tool to build, you can use a tool to destroy.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Ooh. That-
So it's all in how you use it. Some people say, man, the Bible this, the Bible that. Well, it all depends on who's using it and how they're using it.
Mm.
And it doesn't, man, the Bible fake. It doesn't have to be real because a story like David and Goliath, it didn't really have to happen.
Nope.
But I can use that story as inspiration to overcome
Exactly.
something that seems insurmountable. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's
Exactly.
and this goes back to the fact that they've taken our imagination away because when we were kids, we had confidence, we believed,
Mm,
and over time, it's almost like they teach that out of you.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Those stories that and those cartoons, that those things make you feel like you can do things.
yeah.
They instill confidence and imagination and creativity and belief in us.
Mm,
You know, they don't have to be real, but we have to learn how to use them and teach our children how to use those things as tools for their own liberation and growth.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of where we need to be as well.
Right. Right. And I
We,
agree with you, man, to the point where when our people, when we can respect each other's giftings, we can respect each other's talents, we can respect each other's uh, um understanding on the world, man, we become so much stronger. We become so much
Hmm.
more uh, um, resilient. We become so much more knowledgeable because now I see in you myself. You see yourself in me. I trust you with your understanding of things. You trust me with my understanding of things, and now we can do anything.
Listen, man, we got 3 minutes. How we gonna close this thing out? What we gonna do?
go ahead, y'all. Go ahead, man.
Take
Nah,
it,
D.
D. You
Nah,
good?
D. We want you. Matter of fact, before we close it out, I want to tell you, D. I want you to tell people what you were doing because you and your wife do a lot of stuff, man. Tell people about what you and your wife are doing. Tell people
Uh,
about just how they can
the,
reach out to you guys and get in contact with you guys so they can do and get on board with what you guys are doing.
all right, a lot of stuff that we do. First and foremost, what we do is my wife does an amazing job of brand building. Is one of the things that she's working on. This pandemic has allowed her to do a lot of work. She pushed back the launch of the company. Reach out to her; she'll be able to explain everything to you. But if you have a brand, she's into brand building. She's into black owned everything.
Mm,
I wasn't, but she's made me get into black owned everything because I understand the power in blacks owning everything.
mm,
And when I say owning everything, I'm not just talking about production, although we spend a lot of money in black entrepreneurs producing different things.
mm-hmm,
We also got to get into black people owning the things that we need, not to really people clown brother Umar, you know what I mean, because he got a lot of clown worthy traits in some of the stuff he be saying. He a little radical, but I'm a fan of just knowledge in itself. So one of the things that him, my man, what my man name from Atlanta, big boy,
oh, Killer
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 Mike.
Mike.
Mike, Killer Mike is saying like ownership. You know what I mean? We got to get back into black ownership and not just in the things that we purchase as in clothes and shoes and house hair stuff, but owning property. You know what I mean? Building, getting grocery stores. We was just talking about this yesterday. I don't know a black owned grocery store in Palm Beach County is huge.
Mm,
The amount of revenue in Palm Beach County is huge.
mm,
I don't know a black owned grocery store. Somebody
right.
said, well, is one in Atlanta. I'm like, but I can't go grocery shopping in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Right.
So
Right.
it's stuff like black banks, you know what I mean? Being able to put your money in black banks. Every bank around here, most of the banks that you see are FDIC insured.
Mm-hmm.
So your money is insured. It ain't too many of y'all got more than $250,000. So don't be
Right.
telling me they gonna steal your money. You got insurance on your money up
Right.
to $250,000. So if you got $250,000 in the bank, then it should be spread around anyway.
Anyway.
But most sitting around with $700-800 in the bank, and we like, oh, we can't go to a black bank. Black banks, black schools, black hospitals, black grocery stores, the essentials, whatever you call the essentials, we need to be owning with black people, and we need to go around and see it. Secondly, we spend time with doing our couple show on Thursday, and we are by far not a perfect couple. And I think our imperfection allows us to see what other people go through. You know what I mean? We argue, we fight, we on the verge of divorce 1 hour, we in love the next hour. It's just life, And it's Thursday nights at 9. We get into it. It's a group. Martin is always right. You should join the group. We we turn it into a podcast because so many people come in and see. We got so many views on Facebook, so we flipping it over to YouTube as well.
Come
And I
on.
want to tell our people before we leave, this is the number one problem I get upset with. Is the fact that I looked up the population in Polk, 6,217. That's what they said with the census. Belgrade, I didn't look it up. Y'all sitting at about 20,000. I'm gonna give y'all that. So what I'm saying is, for the people that love me, everybody in my city love me. Why? Because I ain't never messed up with nobody in my city. Can nobody in my city say I ever messed up my name with them? You know what I mean? So that's good. Half of Belgrade love me. So if I do math pretty well, that's 16,000 people. I don't understand why I can't get 16,000 people to hit subscribe on YouTube. Like, I don't want no money. I don't want no money. I don't want a dollar from you. I just want you to hit subscribe. You see what I'm saying? It's out there. Hit subscribe. We had this discussion. So if people say, well, I got to sign up for YouTube. If you got an Android phone or an Apple phone,
You already
you
got it.
automatically sign up. When you put in your email, it's already signed up. So all you got to do is hit subscribe and you in there. So I don't understand why I ain't, as soon as I lunch, I don't got 16,000 subscribers. I don't understand that because it don't cost you nothing. And you know the sad part, I can ask right now on this podcast, on my platform, and say, hey, I need $5 from everybody. Here's my cash app, and I'll get 250 people, close to 500 people, to send me $5. But I can't get 500 people to hit subscribe. Just
Wow.
click subscribe. So think about that. Like how we value what somebody else is putting in the atmosphere. You feel me? Like it costs nothing to hit subscribe and support what other people are doing, especially when you see if he actually does make it, the things that inspires him, the things that he desires to do for his people. You know what I mean? For my people, the things that I desire to do, the things that my wife desires to do, the things that I'm held accountable for. You know what I mean? So those things I don't understand. But as I said, Martin is always right. My wife, Porcelain Princess Boutique, um, she creates all kind of crazy stuff. But her thing that she's really into now is our kids. Glitter Gang, look them up on YouTube.
Good again.
Our kids are real big. Glitter Gang, they
Yep.
spin off. Every kid has their own channel. We'll see. But just hit subscribe and just follow what what the movement is. You know what I mean? I went ahead as soon as what it was, quiet moments. What was it? Small moments, simple moments with Mo and whatever he was doing. As soon as he said, "Hey, I did this on YouTube," subscribe right away.
Yep.
Because what does it cost me? Just
Nothing.
subscribe. You know
Nothing.
what I mean? So that's all I ask people to do.
Oh, oh,
Like
oh,
go
oh, oh.
ahead. Oh, there it is. I am MichelleRenee.com. Yeah, just go ahead and click it, follow it. Martin Glitter Gang. Everybody. That's all I'm saying. Like, just support the people who you know trying to do something in the community. That's
Hey,
it.
and you know what, bro? What you just did, thank you for that, man. And this is why we have
Yeah,
this
man.
platform here, man, because we want to support everything Muck. We want to support the Muck. We want to support our people. We want to get things, we want to get people rolling and going because we understand the importance of what we got to offer. And if we get everybody else doing it, and it takes education, and we educate them, man, I appreciate that, man. Hey, Bowden, what you got to say, man?
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Good night. There it
Hey,
is.
DeAlex, man, appreciate you, big brother. Man,
Hey, ain't
thank you
nothing,
for
man.
it, man.
Yeah,
Anytime,
Thank
man.
you,
I
man.
love
man.
y'all, man.
Nothing but love,
Yeah,
bro.
we love
Nothing
you
but
back,
love.
bro.
Hey, y'all,
Yeah,
see y'all
man.
next week, man. Thank y'all. Y'all be blessed, man.